Namaste. I'm very happy to be here this afternoon to share my journey with Vasanth and my life thereafter. So let me start with this anecdote. In the summer of 2007, my children were very young, and I used to be a busy single mom trying to juggle all my activities. So when this call came from Vasanth, he said, "Hey, why don't you join me in Kashmir on the line of control in Uri for 2 months?" I jumped. I said, "Wow, this is my time to chill out, throw away my kitchen, everything, and just relax and time spent with him." And of course, I love watching movies. So I said, let me make a list of all the movies I haven't been able to catch up on. And I made a list of movies. And one of them was this movie called Water, Meera Nair's Water. Those of you who would have watched this movie will know what I'm talking about. It's all about the widows in Benares and their life. It's a very, very strong movie. Even now, when I talk about it, it gives me goosebumps. Oh, God knows what made me pick that movie. It's not by any standards a fun movie. It's a serious movie, and it talks about social practices and norms in our country. Well, I watched that movie. I cried buckets, like I do in every movie, more than probably I've done in reality. And I watched that movie and I said, okay, movie. Well, 3 months later, I came back to Bangalore and Vasanth was martyred. And life crashed. But my life was very different from what I have seen with all these in the movies, what I saw in the movies. Thanks to my family, very liberal, very outgoing, very strong net, and very supportive. All I had to deal with was my grief and loss of Vasanth. But then, there was something that was bothering me, and I said, this doesn't seem right. And we started the Vasantharatna empowerment program. My artistic brain wouldn't keep quiet even in my time of grief. And as an artist, you're always role playing, you're shifting, you're thinking. And you say, okay, you're wife now, you're mother now, you're daughter now, you're this, you're artist now, you're dancer now. And I said, okay, I have a new role, widow. I hate that word, trust me. Not because of the word, it's just a simple word. It could be any other word. It just says a lady who's lost her spouse, her husband. But in India, my God, the connotations of that word is crazy, it's immense. And the lack of color of that baggage is appalling, to say the least. So we started the Vasantharatna Foundation with the whole idea of wanting to change social perspective, strengthen the women. So we started reaching out to a lot of the Javans' families and we started talking to them. One of those journeys, I met this lady in Delhi, a young girl, just maybe all about 21, 22. And she was wearing all white. My life hadn't changed. I was wearing all the colors. Of course, because I was a dancer, I was also dressing up. I was living my life quite normally, like anybody. And people wouldn't say if they saw me that I was a widow. But this girl, outlook, her whole, the way she was dressed up, just screamed. And I couldn't take it. So we were in part of that empowerment program. And I went and hugged her and I said, look, why are you doing this to yourself? So she says, this is my family tradition. I can't do anything else. I have to be like this. I've already hurt my family a lot. I've brought them a lot of bad luck. And I can't hurt them anymore. I just have to follow the family custom. I was very numbed. I was very upset. And I was like, how can we make a difference to this? How can we help her look at herself differently? In all these 10 years that I've lost Vasanth, it's only been 4 times that I've had an experience of how society is looking at me differently, though I'm not looking at myself differently. I'm not saying there's no grief or there's no pain of loss of a loved one. That doesn't have to come across in the way I dress or talk. But society is still treating me differently. Recently, I was at a wedding, and suddenly I was given white ash in the place of that traditional kumkum. I never realized what was happening. I just took it and I put it here, and I went home that evening and realized, okay, there was something there. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to say is it's not just in the movies, it's not out there. It's happening to you and me and all of us. It's in our society, it's in our social grain. What is this? Why? Why are we doing this to ourselves is what shocks me. So the Vasantharatna empowerment camp is all about changing mindsets. And like Gandhiji said, be the change you want to see. Yes, be the change you want to see. But is it so easy? Is it so simple? Don't we need support? The individual is the smallest unit of society, but the individual is supported by family, by extended friends, extended family, friends, and all of that. And that's what creates the fabric of the society. So even if I want to be the change I want to see, I need support, I need help, I need people to say yes. In fact, even to come here today and say what I'm saying, I needed a lot of support from my family and friends. And one of them was my daughter. She said, Mama, if you're not going to go out there and talk, then who is going to? So here I am, thanks to the support from my family and my children, to come out here and talk about a social practice which I think is just inhuman. What are we trying to do to these women? They are a huge potential for our country, and if we are going to cripple them by making them feel insufficient, all because they've lost their spouses, don't you think that's unfair? And also in our society, somewhere I feel a lady who loses her spouse is more unfortunate and more pitied than a man who loses his wife. Isn't the pain the same? Isn't the grief the same? Why are we differentiating between genders? What are we doing? Well, I have a small anecdote here. When my children were very young, they used to play this game with my mother-in-law. And nowadays, of course, in the market, all of us are putting these sticker bindis, right? And I'm talking about bindis because it is one of the things that a widow is not supposed to wear, right? Like I told you, I went for this wedding and I was given this white ash. So 10, 15 years ago when my children were playing, they used to pick up this bindi, they used to put it on her nose, they used to put it on her cheek, they used to put it on her chin, even on her elbow, and they would all be giggling and laughing. And my mother-in-law indulged them and played this game with them. Okay, why am I telling you this? So why do we put the bindi here? We put it there because according to our Kundalini or yoga beliefs, the spiritual belief, this is the 6th chakra and supposed to be a very powerful one at that. And to press this every day is good to focus, to enhance our creativity, to inspire ourselves. There is an energy point here, and we all need to do this, irrespective of our gender, age, class, status, married or otherwise. We are supposed to be able to energize it. And that is maybe why the Bindi practice even started. So this is the Agnya Chakra, and that is the point of union of the male and the female, and thereon there is no duality, and that is conceptualized by the idea of the Ardhanarishvara, they say. So when the Bindi has something to do with creativity and inspiration and focus, what is all this thing about it being synonymous with being a married woman or not having a spouse anymore? There is no connection at all. So we can all afford to put the bindi. Even if we don't put the bindi, we can just focus on that point and energize ourselves and be alive. My humble request to all of you here today is we have to be the change that we want to see. So let us encourage every woman to dress well and be herself, whatever she wants to do. And I believe the body is our temple. We need to nourish it, cherish it, and take care of it. And there is a purpose why we are all alive. And to do that, we need to throw away all these irrelevant social practices that are kind of bogging us down and pulling us down. And in today's 21st century India, I think we don't need to have all these practices. It has its purpose, and all of us are free to energize and focus on this point. I just wanted to talk about one of the aspects that our social practices have, and that was the Bindi, and that's what I chose to do today. Thank you for giving me such a patient hearing. Namaste.